This is unpopular opinion. You in the right place. I'm just waiting on my co-host, special guest, whatever you want to call it, to join in. So as soon as he joins in, we can begin. We're not gonna talk about much today. We're just gonna talk about the Heisman Trophy uh winner.
All right,
Mr. Reed, what's good, man?
man. Not much, man. What's going on, Dub?
Not a whole lot, not a whole lot. This ain't gonna be a long show today, man. I just wanted to jump on and talk this talk and just kind of do what we do. This is gonna be quick. It ain't number two topics today. We're gonna talk a little bit about this Heisman Trophy winner
Right on,
and NBA Cup. So,
right on. Okay, I'm ready for that one. Whew.
all right. So the reason why I don't have my background in here is because it goes with the topics today. So
But you
as you
got
can
that
see,
Christmas tree, though. Got the Christmas tree.
yeah. As you see, we got the Christmas tree up, and see all this goes into the topics for today. So yesterday, we were getting ready to, get the Christmas tree up and all that, and we figured out that the one we have, it was broken, so we needed to replace it. Had to get a new one. So in the
Them jokers
process
ain't
of
cheap these days.
say what?
They
Yeah,
they not cheap these days.
exactly. So I'm just kind of getting my mind wrapped around that because around the holidays, your kid and my kid, they're around the same age. Well, my children and your child are around the same age, and we kind of at that point where we're trying to make the holiday as little work as possible.
Oh, straight up, yeah.
You
Low
know,
maintenance.
so no surprises. You know what I'm saying? No
Nope.
surprises. So on a mission to get the Christmas tree that I did get. And in the process, shoot over to Home Depot. I mean, like, okay, I'll go over to Home Depot, use my Home Depot credit card, because they got the whole 6 months, just because I'm like, hey, you know what? I don't want no surprise, I don't want no unexpected expenses. No. I
Yeah.
go in, I'm on a mission, we're looking at trees, we're trying to decide. And in the process of that, I had this very hat on that I have on today. Yesterday, I had that hat on, had this hat on, and I'm sitting here just in my phone trying to say, wait a minute, I don't see the one that I thought I was seeing online in the store. And are there any more that I can choose from? Is the selection a little bit broader? You know what I'm saying? But as I'm looking at my phone, I'm focusing on trees, in and out job. Let's make this thing quick. In
Mhm.
and out, snatch and grab type deal. And all of a sudden, I hear the most subtle in his library voice. Like I said, I'm focusing on me and trees. I know my wife with me, but it's me and the trees. And I hear the most subtle roll tide.
Why? Why?
I didn't even notice him, but apparently he noticed me. And I'm really thinking
Mhm.
that's just a way of him saying, I like that hat you got on your head though, man. Like, but without me telling you, I noticed that hat caught my eye. I'm just gonna say what I'm gonna say.
All right, that's one way to take it.
And I'm just saying, I was like, man, and then also I'm just like, okay, that was the most subtle jab. Cause all of a sudden it just caught me off guard. Cause I'm in my phone, I'm looking at trees, and I'm like, did I just hear what I thought I hear? Did I just hear what I thought I heard? You know what I'm saying?
But it also wasn't necessary.
Cause I ain't even know nobody else. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
man.
You know, you get it. You get it.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
not to make a short story long, just making a long story short. We didn't get one from there. We had to go on the slide over to Walmart. We grabbed one. And like I said, they weren't cheap. Put it on another card. And I was just like, okay, here it is. It is what it is. So I got it up and it's in the background. But in the midst of me doing all that, I forgot that the Heisman Trophy award presentation was on. I kind of just forgot about that happening, and I was kind of focusing on, okay, I'm gonna get back and watch whatever I can of the NBA Cup tournament. So that's where we are. Well, that's where we were, and here's where we are. So that's how I ended up with the white tree in the background, and now we're gonna
How
just
come? How come you just didn't get a real one?
my wife, she wanted to do a white tree this year. That was just
Man,
kind of her thing. She
you
was
could
like,
have got
hey,
that spray and painted that joint white.
hey, well, and that's the thing. I think we're gonna end up doing that with the other tree because it was another tree that we have in the attic that was already this pre-lit, but she didn't want the colorful lights. She wanted clear lights. So we got the white tree with the clear light, and she was like, she'll probably add some other lights. But here we are, done deal. But like I said, I missed the Heisman Trophy Awards ceremony. And guess how I ended up figuring out who won?
ESPN alert.
No. I'm responding to a I'm trying to post a GIF of a video that I saw on Instagram, and I saw I just had Heisman Trophy winner. What's better name? What's better name for LSU that
Oh,
won?
Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, it had Heisman Trophy winner Jaden Daniels. He was already in the selection. I was like, wait a minute, that was tonight. So that's how I figured out he won. Now, did I think he was gonna win it? I didn't think he was gonna win it. I'm thinking that Michael Penix had him a case. I know Bo Nix was a lot of people had him there. Who did you think was gonna win it?
Who did I think was going to win it versus who did I want to win it?
Let me get both.
All right, who I wanted to win was Marvin Harrison Jr.
Okay.
because that dude balled out without the greatest of quarterbacks. We'll
Oh
say
yeah.
that he had a fair to middling quarterback
Oh yeah.
all season, and up until they ran into Michigan, dude had a pretty solid season.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now who I thought was going to win it was Bo Nix. Had Bo Nix not lost to Penix for the second time in the current season, I know Bo Nix don't play defense, but had Oregon not lost to Washington twice, I really thought Bo Nix was gonna get it because they was, man. I think since week 3, week 4, man, they started elevating Bo like every week, just hyping him, hyping him, hyping him. So
Yeah.
I thought it was his to lose,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he lost it.
And I'm thinking that I felt like he was a favorite. He was by a large percentage, he was the favorite, but because he didn't win the championship and he lost twice to Michael Penix Jr., he didn't he wasn't gonna win. And that's how I felt like. But I thought Penix had it because he had pretty much been the most consistent across the board. It's like he hadn't had any setbacks and missteps, and I felt like he pretty much was a story. But then again, um, with better from LSU, I thought because he got knocked out that one game and had to miss a game or whatever, I thought he wouldn't be one of the he wouldn't end up winning it. But what do I know?
I mean, he still played enough games, and then he had enough like big wins, and then
Yeah.
you also got to look at playing in the SEC. It gives you style points where playing somewhere else may not get you,
Oh yeah.
and
Definitely.
I mean it helped, but it I don't know. LSU didn't have a great season, but they wouldn't have been as good as they were without him.
Yes, true.
Now, Penix Jr., man, this is gonna be unpopular as hell. That Joker like damn near 28 years old, bro. Like he's on like his 6th or 7th year of eligibility due to like medical red shirts and the COVID year and all of that stuff, man. So he's very well seasoned and experienced.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
he's the oldest. I'm pretty sure he was the
yeah,
oldest.
like I'm not even joking about saying he's almost 28. Like I'm for real.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Tennessee's guy from last season, Hendon Hooker, by the time he got drafted, like he was 26 years old.
Yeah.
Most people enter the league 22 at the oldest.
Yes. And that was
So
one
I
thing that
mean,
I didn't realize, not to cut you off. That's one thing I didn't realize how old Shiloh was. I was like,
mm,
man. And then I know that COVID gave people an additional year, but I was like, man, there's some cats that's pretty old out here playing college football, you know. And I mean, but ain't nobody as old as that one what was that kicker or punter for Colorado State?
oh yeah, yo,
But I know he's
no,
from a different country.
I take it back, man. Like I think in mid to late 2000s, so like '07, sometime like that, South Carolina had that guy that they used to call Pops because he had returned from the military and he was a walk on for South Carolina on their special teams. And that dude was like 40 something, man.
It's
Like
my
that was wild.
South Carolina State.
No,
Okay.
South Carolina, the
Okay.
Gamecocks.
Yeah. I think I know exactly who you're talking about.
But but back to this Heisman thing, man. Like, so Jaden Daniels got it. Cool, congratulations. But the reason why, in my opinion, it snuck up on you is because people, us included, we spent so much time talking about the playoff and who got in, who didn't get in. That completely overshadowed the Heisman because everybody was in such an uproar about, who didn't make the playoffs.
Yes. Yes,
And
very much
then
so.
and then they didn't market the Heisman the way that they normally do. Because leading up to the Heisman, man, you see all sorts of commercials, and then they didn't even like advertise the college football awards. Like I found out who won the Maxwell, the Ray Grove punting award, like all this stuff, because I got ESPN alerts on my phone coming through like a text message. I didn't even know the award show was that night. And then
Right.
the Heisman, I completely forgot about it because I was getting ready for the in season tournament championship.
True, true. And before we shift gears to the mid-season tournament, well, in-season tournament, um, going back to the playoff, like you said, it was an uproar because after our show last week, I went to work, and the few people that I talked to about it, about sports in general, and then there's a few
Mm.
other that kind of heard us talking that chimed in, but it was like it's mainly two people that I would discuss it. My guy Lawrence and my guy Thomas. But in the midst of our conversation, it was about five other people that chimed in, but everybody had a different perspective and point of view and who should be in and who should be out. I had one guy saying Michigan shouldn't be in it because they cheated, or but other people were like, well, they didn't get caught. Well, they got caught, but they have not been fully punished for, or what did they get caught about is not clear. It's so much in the air about it. And some were
Oh,
like,
okay.
well, they
Those are
did
just
get punished.
allegations.
So
Those
what?
are allegations.
Yeah,
Allegations.
yeah, yeah,
Nothing
allegation.
is
It was so much alleged that how can you penalize them for allegations? So that was one guy's perspective. But I was like, wow, that came kind of out of and he kind of came by in passing, like, oh, you know who I think shouldn't be in it? Michigan. And then I was like, oh, okay. But then you had some cats were saying that Georgia should have still been in it. Then you had some that were like, FSU and Georgia, they both got screwed. Then some were saying Georgia and Bama, you know what I mean? But of course they don't want. I mean, it was just so many different. And then some people just like leave Washington out altogether. It's just like, and another cat was even talking about Ohio State, and I'm like, man, like this is something like it for me. I'm thinking it was gonna be kind of a consistent perspective, but every person had a different take on that particular who playoff scenario. Everybody had their own scenario.
the best take that I saw,
What was that?
and I can't believe I'm agreeing with the person that said it, but JJ Watt said that for this one season, they should have done an emergency 16 playoff where Washington and Michigan, they get buys. And then whatever the order is that they wanted to have it, Bama, Georgia, FSU, and Texas got to play each other. And then just do it that way. If we're
Yes.
talking about fair, which I don't believe anything in life is fair,
Yeah.
that would have been for this 1 year, because I mean, unprecedented. That probably would have been the best way to do it. And that way everybody else can just shut up
True.
because they just keep moving. And because this is all about money, that generates more money.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I know they were saying, like you said, unprecedented. Everybody was out. Well, most people were. They were all of the mindset that they have never left out the undefeated team since the inception of the
Oh,
playoff. You know.
okay, I was about to say, because I remember when we were in school,
Yes. Yeah.
that 2004 season,
Post BCS now.
because boy, I'm
Current
still hurt about that one.
CFP, college
I
football playoff.
and for the people that don't know what happened, Auburn went undefeated that year, made
Yeah.
it to the Sugar Bowl, but that was not for the BCS title. It ended
Right.
up being Oklahoma versus USC. That was
Yes.
the year that USC had Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart. They
Yes.
beat the doors off Oklahoma.
Yes.
Oklahoma was not the best team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying Auburn was the best team, but we were damn sure better than Oklahoma.
Oh yeah.
And then we went on. I forgot who we played in the Sugar Bowl, but man, them boys mopped the floor against them dudes. Like, so Auburn had an undefeated season, and then fast forward when they wanted to take Reggie Bush's Heisman away, that means they should have also taken their national championship away.
True.
And if we're doing University of Alabama math, then that means Auburn has a championship that was not awarded to us in proper fashion.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
But I digress.
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, so dang, I keep forgetting, but what's his name? LSU quarterback.
Jaden Daniels.
Braden
Oh,
Daniels.
here's another thing. I saw this stat this morning. They said 5 of the last 7 Heisman Trophy winners were transfers from another school.
Yep, I know, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
And like the only 2 of the last 7 was Devontae Smith and Bryce Young, because they played at Bama, stayed at Bama, but all them other jokers, spent some time at another school.
Yep.
It was like, Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield. I was like, so it might be something to this transferring thing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This transferring. This the new day. New day, new way. You know what I mean? This is the new normal. You know.
Yeah.
And we're gonna see what happens next year with the Heisman Trophy, but we're gonna see what's gonna happen with this whole college football playoff once they get on the field. We have our ideas, we have our opinions, and who we want to win, but we gonna see what happens once it all plays out. But shifting gears to the NBA Cup. Now, did you think the Lakers would end up in it? Because I didn't even once it came down to it, I didn't even expect the Lakers or the Pacers to be the final two to play for the tournament. You know, the NBA Cup.
I figured they would be once I finally understood the format. Because when the season first began and when those in season tournament games started, I really didn't understand that it was group play, kind of like soccer, kind of like the World Cup, or like Euro League. So I didn't understand the matchups and things of that nature, and I also didn't understand that tiebreakers were based on point differentials. Because I was
Yes.
watching one game, and I was like, man, they blowing the doors off these dudes. Why they still got these starters in and putting up all these points? And what was telling is coaches didn't even understand it, because coaches was about to have words with each other until one coach had explained. I think it was to Billy Donovan, coach of the Chicago Bulls. He was getting upset because Boston was like, man, up by 30 some 40 points in the fourth quarter, and they were still pulling shots. And Boston had to explain to Billy Donovan that in case of a tiebreaker, they go to point differential. So you
Right.
got to have as many points scored in the event that you do lose a game, you may still be able to get in over somebody else. If it comes down to, well, we got one loss, they got one loss. Well, we scored X amount of points over their X amount of points. But once I saw the games that were actual tournament games and saw how the Lakers were playing, and even how I saw Phoenix was playing, I knew it was going to be one of those two teams coming out the West. And then with Phoenix, lost to LA on questionable last few
Questionable
seconds. You
timeout,
know,
possession. Yeah,
yeah. And then I was like, oh yeah, LA got this. Now, Indiana, I didn't see this from Indiana. Like I really, really thought this was gonna be the Bucks coming out the East, just on the strength of them having Giannis. Now they had Dame, they got Chris Middleton, they still got Bobby Portis coming off the bench. Uh, you know, they have a very deep bench, but as Giannis said after they lost, man, our bench didn't bring it. So I don't know, man, but I had fun watching it.
it was definitely interesting. It was fun to watch. I know I began to understand it more as it progressed. And once it came down to the final game, it was like, okay, this is what it is. But I'm still like, I don't know how to feel about, oh yeah, we got the NBA Cup. You know what I mean? Because some cats is like, it was the end season tournament, but I guess it's still too new. That
Let me
newness.
ask you a question. Before this season and the NBA Cup, when do you normally start watching NBA basketball?
Well, for me, I watch NBA basketball from the beginning because there's always a few teams that I'm gonna look at. I'm looking for depending on what moves they made and
Okay.
who's the player. You know what I mean? So like I tend to see what KD got going on. You know what I mean? I tend to kind of see, okay, who did they put around Giannis? You know what I mean? I always kind of check on to see what Steph doing. And then who else is out there? Just a team that I and then also that team that you just kind of see is like, okay, like a Dallas, for example. They got Kyrie there. Let's see what they got going on. Then this time around, Denver. They the NBA champions from last season. It's like, okay, they lost a few pieces. Let's see how they start and if they can continue and be consistent enough to make another run this year. So there's a few teams that I was tend to just kind of check in on, but as far as like the average fan, I feel like maybe around Christmas is when they'll
See
kind of
that?
start
See
watching, or
that?
All
That's
Star break. You
see.
know,
That's why I asked you that question because you're like me. Like I watch from opening week, but a lot of people don't start until Christmas Day game because that's when all the marquee players and teams are playing. Then you want to see who got the sneakers on, and then you watch All Star. But then also in the past, it didn't seem like the actual players didn't really get up for games except on Christmas Day and
mm-hmm.
then after All Star, because then that's when trade deadline comes up and then they're making their
Yeah,
playoff push. But to see like some of the intensity from these games in November and December, that was wild.
yes, yeah.
I mean, so I did appreciate that. My one knock about this in season tournament, I do not like those courts. Man, man, some of those courts were trash. And then some of the jerseys, that some of the teams had were trash. Now some were fire, like those black Lakers jersey, like them joints was nice. But
mm-hmm.
it was some teams, man, they jerseys just wasn't it. And I get the reason for them having, the court alternating this to show that this is an actual in season game. I mean in season tournament game. And the jerseys also, but those jerseys was also a revenue grab too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And cause yeah, that's that for that tournament. That's that different look, that one different alternate jersey that they can say, hey, you ain't a real fan unless you get this one too, type stuff.
Yeah.
But
I think
one
next
thing
year,
about the tournament, I'm gonna say before you make that point, it did definitely bring a lot more attention to the season early on, but also it was in Vegas for the championship or what have you, and that's just another spectacle to have more attention to be a draw for people to come out and actually show up to a game, to an event. That's
yeah,
like you got that tournament, you got Christmas, you got All Star, then you have the playoffs and the finals. They really touching on the beginning, well, early in the season, the beginning, late in the beginning with the Christmas, and then trade deadline, uh, playoffs and things like that. They really making it consistently where, hey, We want you to have something to get up for as a fan the whole year. But go ahead.
All right, so the first thing I was about to say is next season that tournament is going to have a sponsor, like some big name, big brand, Fortune 500, Fortune 20 company is going to be sponsoring that in season tournament and that NBA Cup. And then to your point about Vegas, is Vegas. I mean, in season tournament championship, Christmas All Star, daggone playoffs begin. Don't forget, Summer League is in Vegas too.
Yeah.
And
And
Summer League,
and remember the play in.
yeah.
So that
And
play in.
so Summer League being in Vegas, and then also coming off the WNBA Las Vegas Aces having back-to-back championships, this actually puts a blueprint to show that Vegas can be an NBA city.
Yeah.
So when LeBron or whoever gets through playing, or Shaq wants to get in on it too, this shows that you can have a sustainable NBA franchise in Las Vegas.
Yes, very much so. But this makes me think of a question though. Will the NBA Cup championship, that final game, will it always be in Vegas, or are they gonna move it around like they do with an All-Star weekend?
That's a good question. I think for now, because there is no team in Vegas, that makes it a neutral site.
Yeah.
So I mean, if they were to move it, you'd have to probably take it back somewhere like Seattle.
Yeah.
Since Seattle doesn't have a team. I mean, you have to try to figure something out like that. But I think the whole neutral site aspect of the semifinals and the championship game, they'd have to keep it in Vegas for now.
Yeah. True. 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 But so is this just another resume builder for a LeBron, or the team that has won it? Or is it just like, hey, do you think the the NBA Cup is going to be around? Is it here to stay, or is it or is what is it? Is it really a part of the NBA season? Would that be another accolade that they can add? And then also, let's say it's just a little blip on the radar where, like, okay, we tried it, then we decide to move on for it. Is it just a footnote?
I don't foresee it going anywhere. It's too much money involved. It made too much money. It brought the casual fan to the game sooner than Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
sooner than All Star. And then the big dogs in the NBA actually enjoy playing in it. Like the guys that's got the signature shoe deals, that's getting the 100, 200, $300 million contracts. Those jokers enjoy playing in it. And then also, like, what's dope about it, for now, you think about dudes that's like 11 through 15 on the bench. These guys aren't making like a lot of money
No.
necessarily. They're making more than the average American, true enough. But by professional sports standards, they're not getting like crazy paid. Man, I saw a stat like the dudes on the Lakers, four of them doubled their year salary just by not even playing in the game last night, but because the Lakers won,
True.
they doubled their earnings for this year.
And I
And then
saw
even
that to jump in, I saw that the Pacers players, it was like they would in that they would be making 1/6 of their salary just
mm-hmm.
off if they won the in season tournament. But go ahead.
But the Pacers, even in that loss, they still got 200,000 each.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's good money. But and to your question about LeBron, I really don't know if that's a resume builder, but he said something this morning. He's like, he wants, the actual championship, the Larry O'Brien, but to say that you were the first to do something,
Yeah.
people can beat records. People are going to beat my records, but you'll never be able to say
I was the
that
first.
I wasn't the first.
Yeah.
So, I mean, take that for what it is, though.
Yeah. Because I even know how KD in his press conference after the questionable call, he was saying, they pretty much setting this up for LeBron and the Lakers to win the first one.
Yeah.
But I think it's good for the NBA because, like you said, all the things you outlined, Brought the fans out early. It seemed like the guys really engaged in the competition, got up for it. It also, those guys that don't make as much, they did get a pretty hefty early bonus early on in the season. And we all know that, like how crazy taxes are with a professional player, you know what I mean? They get taxed in every city I think they play in, if I'm not mistaken.
Including Canada.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
When I learned they pay Canadian taxes, even if they don't play for the Raptors, I got mad for them. So you
Yeah.
mean to tell me I go to Toronto one time a year and I owe Canada taxes? Man, get out of here.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's wild. But man, that's about all the time we have for today, man. I just wanted to make
Hey,
sure.
real quick. The one knock I do have on the
Mhm.
semifinals and the championship game, that arena was way too dark. I couldn't see who was at the game. I
Yes.
couldn't see none of the bad chicks, none of that, man. Like,
Yes.
come on. I need to see who out there.
Because did they play what the Aces normally play, or where did they play?
Yeah, they played the T-Mobile Arena. Yeah, or the Aces
Okay.
play.
Okay. But I know I was seeing the lights, as whatever took place on the court, the lights would flicker and flash and change color. But it wasn't like you really had that. You couldn't see who was there. You knew
Yeah,
people
man.
were there, but you couldn't see who was there.
Took me all game to realize Asia Wilson was sitting courtside. Made me mad.
Yeah. But like I said, man, we're about out of time, man. I'm glad you was able to jump on and chop it up with me, man. We're gonna kind of see if we can get a schedule ironed out. This still experimental. This still just the test phase of things. But I think we're gonna figure something out, man. And one thing I know about it is stay consistent, keep posting content, and we'll see what happens with it, man. But I appreciate you joining me, and this is another episode of Unpopular Opinion, and we out.